Hello, hello. Hi, good morning, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I've been on live. It's probably been about a year since I've been on YouTube, on live, or just like making videos. Um, a lot has happened, a lot of changes have been made, and of course, a lot of things are going on now. So, if you don't know me, my name is Ashley Nicole. I am a licensed mental health counselor and I am also a career coach. On this channel, I talk everything related to mental health. Most of my videos, pretty much all of them, are just really education based for entertainment purposes, also to educate people about mental health. So I take different topics and kind of relate them to mental health to give you a better idea or just my perspective about what's going on with the situation. But again, another one of my passions is career coaching. So I like to kind of help people navigate burnout in the workplace, if they have any anxiety or depression at work. But most importantly, when it comes to my career coaching practice, I like to help people kind of navigate the transition if they are trying to get into a different field, or if they don't really know how to transition to a different job within the organization that they work in, or a different organization. So helping people really kind of be strategic and make a plan regarding that, of course, without any of the anxiety related to it. So I had to come today. Usually I do not have enough time. Like, that's always the issue. I don't have enough time. I got a lot of things going on, but I had to make time today, and I do have a little bit of time to really just reintroduce myself and hone in on some of these things. So because there is a lot of things going on, I think it's important for me, especially because it's my passion, and also because just helping people figure out what their career transition is going to look like, and maybe what to look for before they kind of move into that. So for this short period of time, I'm going to be talking about 3 signs that you might need to really leave your job. And of course, sometimes people are in situations where it's not even up to them. You're given a letter, you're told something. I know that at one time I worked for corporate for a long time. And at one point, I was in the same position where I didn't have a choice, right? Where my job was eliminated and I had to pivot really quick, right? But I kind of course, hindsight is 2020. So when I look back, there were signs where that kind of told me, okay, it's time for you to pivot, and I just didn't do it. So one of the things that I wish someone would have told me, like my mentors, great managers that I had, people that really kind of knew what work ethic that I had, I wish they would have told me not to get comfortable. And so that's what I'm telling you today. Don't get comfortable in any career or job that you have, because you may have to pivot at some point. So if you're feeling stuck at work, if you have the Sunday scaries, this is a whole thing, okay? The Sunday scaries are a whole thing. It's on Sunday, you know you gotta go into that office on Monday morning. On Sunday, you start feeling anxious. You get like the bubbles in your tummy, right? You are just overthinking about all the things you gotta do on Monday. Right, so I've been there before, but if you've had those experiences, or if this is a consistent thing that happens in your life on a weekly basis, right, it might be time for you to change it. Right, so really quickly, again, let's talk about what you can do next, because I'm really about giving practical tips to be able to do this. And sometimes, even when I find working with clients that come for therapy, a lot of times people tell them what they can do, but they don't really tell them how to do it. And so that's really what I try to do, give you really easy and practical tips on how to do these things, because because it's like, it's one thing to know what to do, but how am I really going to do it? Okay, but today I'm going to give you some of the signs that lets you know that, okay, it might be time to change. And when I say change, when it comes to your career or job, I'm saying, what I mean by that is either you are changing jobs or changing roles within the same company, right? Or you're going to a totally different field in the same company, right? Or you might have the same role at a different company or a different role at a different company. Outside of that, it may be you having your own company, which is, I do recommend that people get to a point, even if you have your corporate job, your 9 to 5, that you have something of your own on the side. But again, I realize that owning your own company is not for everybody, right? It takes a certain mindset to be able to do that. And in my opinion, a certain place in your life to be able to do that. And these are some of the things that I kind of help my coaching clients with too. So the first sign is, if you see that in your current role, wherever you are, right, that there's no growth, right? There's no growth. There's really no future in the company. There's really no way for you to get promoted, or you don't really see a space where you can kind of move up and learn like a different skill and things like that. Basically, you've hit a ceiling, right? You're not being developed by your manager. Also, when it comes to those Sunday scaries, right, you don't feel excited anymore about going to work, right? And I see this a lot of times when it comes to like professional careers, right, where you really feel like, okay, I'm going to work to get my coin, and I don't feel excited about it anymore. That might be a sign that it's time for you to pivot, right? Again, if you feel like you're just clocking in and out, you don't really have a purpose, everything is just at a standstill, lets you know that, okay, this might be the time, right? Okay, so the second thing is going back to those Sunday scaries, right? Again, this is real. This is when you feel like you really dread Mondays, right? I always tell my coaching clients, you should never get to a point where you feel like, oh, I gotta go in again, or that it's like a hassle for you to go to work. You should, in some ways, not even love what you do, but just be satisfied with what you were doing. And that kind of goes back to the no growth too, because another sign might be that you feeling like you need to do more. I know at one point that's how I felt, that I was satisfied with what I was doing, but I felt like, okay, based on the skills that I have, experience that I have, I should be doing more with what I know, right? So the first one, again, no growth, you're at a standstill. That's one sign. The second sign is those Sunday scaries are coming consistently. Every Sunday, it's like, dang, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Dang, I gotta clock in, right? That's the second sign, right? Okay. The third sign is that, and this is a huge one, and most people that I talk to really get it, and this is the place that they are at when they come to see me, right? That they are emotionally exhausted with what they do, right? Burnout is a real thing, right? You might be drained, you feel irritable. Most of the time, whatever role that you are doing, you're able to like handle it. You can do your job like the back of your hand, but you get agitated really quickly now. You're constantly questioning yourself. Is this even worth it, what I'm doing? It's really taking a toll on your mental health. That is a sure sign, and it's probably the number one sign to let you know that it's time for you to pivot, right? Okay, so you at that point where you in one of the categories, right? And I'll tell you, let me see. The first one, I was in the first one, there was no growth where I was. Now, I was making a great salary, right? I had great co-workers, you know, management was iffy, right? Management was iffy, but I had great co-workers, my friend, you know, I worked with my friends and things like this. I was doing what I love to do, right? But there was no growth. And at one period of time, again, my job was eliminated. So I was put in a position where I didn't have a choice. But hindsight again is 2020. I had been setting myself up for certain things in order for me to get to that point, right? So that's kind of like a whole nother thing that I'll maybe talk about in another live, right? But there was no growth for me because my job was eliminated. But even before that, it got to a point where I was like, oh, I don't want to go. And the times where I felt like that, it was because of management. And management, that could be senior management, that could be based on the decisions that are made way at the top and they were impacting my role. You know, I was just kind of checked out of, you know, this is not even efficient. You know, why are they even making these decisions? The decisions didn't make any sense, right? And so I got exhausted. And I'm like, I like what I do, but where I am right now, I'm not able to really blossom and flourish into who I felt like I needed to be when it came to my career, right? Okay, so then it's like, what do you do though before you leave, before you quit? Like, what do you do? I really don't recommend anyone, unless you are in a position where you have to, right? I really don't recommend that anyone just quits without having something in place, something lined up. And when I say something, doesn't have to be another job. Doesn't have, you know, you need to have a plan. And most of the time, when people have a plan, this is what manages the anxiety about what's going to happen next, right? It's like you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't really know all the details, but you have a guideline of, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what, you know, this is what's next, right? So if you don't have any of that, you just kind of like going along, kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall. It's like, okay, well, let me see if this works. Let me see if this works, right? But when you have a plan, you create a plan for yourself, there's less anxiety, there's less fear, right, of doing whatever the next thing is, right? So you need to get clear about what your next move is. Don't just jump in and say, oh, you know, it's all going to work out. Now, it's a thing to that too. But if your mindset is not there yet and you've never really been in a position where you've had to jump, right, automatically and say, okay, yeah, I'm just going to jump. It's all going to work out. If you've never been there before, you don't really know what it feels like, and there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. Now, if you've been in a position where you jumped and it all worked out, okay, this time you can jump and you can be like, oh yeah, because I've been here before and everything seemed to work out, so I'm going to be good. But again, if you've never been in that position before where you jumped, then guess what? You're going to be anxious. You're going to be scared, right? You're going to be fearful, right? And there are other outside factors that are impacting whatever decision that you make. You may have a family, right? Everybody has responsibilities. Everybody has bills to pay. And so you can't just jump. You got to be strategic with what your next career move is going to be. So if you're in the live, please like the live. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. Again, my channel is about all things mental health and career coaching. I am a licensed therapist and I'm also a career coach. So these are my passions. This is what I talk about the most. Any video you see on my channel is related to one of those things, right? So I'm excited to be here today to kind of share these things with you all. Okay, so before you quit your job, what do you need to do? You need to get clear. That's the first thing. Get clear about what do I need to do next. Now, say for example, you were in my position where they said, okay, your job is eliminated. You don't have a choice, right? You don't have a choice but to stay or go. Now, in my particular position, my job was eliminated, but there were like other options that were on the table. Like, okay, you could try to interview for different jobs in the company and things like that, right? Which this would be a whole nother live that I really do want to get into because it goes really deep into the mindset. But even if it's that where you don't have time, you still need to sit down and create a plan for yourself about what you want to do next. Whether that's, again, same role or a different role in the same company, different role in a different company, right? Or going into a whole new field, and it can be done. I've helped people with professional degrees, right? There are some people with the professional degrees that they just want to own a coffee shop, right? Some people with professional degrees, they just want to, they don't want to be responsible for all of these big things or heavy things, so they pivot. And so I help people to do that. Okay, so get clear, right, about what your next move is going to be. You definitely need to update your resume. Right? If you're going to do the 9 to 5 or do the corporate, you definitely need to update your resume, and of course LinkedIn, all of the things. There are some resources that I have that I share with my clients, my coaching clients, that kind of help them find positions outside of the common ways that we know about. So if you need any of that information, you can leave a comment below, or if you're watching the replay, you can leave a comment below to let me know if you need any of those resources. And then the third thing you need to do before you quit, or even if you are in a position where you've got to hurry up and make choices, right, is you have to start networking. This is going to be your biggest asset when you are trying to pivot. You need to position yourself with people where you can leverage their expertise. You can ask them questions about different careers or where you want to go next, right? You can let them know, hey, I'm looking for a position, right? And then they can let the people they know, right, that you're looking for something. If you're not networking, it's really going to put you at a disadvantage when you're trying to make a pivot in your career, right? And one of the things that kind of goes into that, and I'll leave you all with this, is you need to always be looking. You can have the greatest job in the world. And that goes back to what I wish someone told me. And I'm telling you all, do not get comfortable in any job or career you have. Not only because things could change, or that your job could be eliminated, because what we know is that people grow and change, right? And so you may be passionate about this today, but shoot, 10 years from now, you'll be like, okay, you know what? I really want to do this, or I really want to explore something else. And then you want to pivot, right? So always see what opportunities are out there for whatever your passions are, because at some point you may want to do that, right? So recap. 3 things, right? The 3 things that let you know that it's time for you to go, time for you to start looking, or shoot, it's time for you to book me as your coach, right? The first thing is you're not growing where you are, right? The second thing is that you are burnt out, right? And the third thing is that your mental health is being affected. You're anxious, you're sad, you're not getting any sleep, you're not eating like you used to, you're not interested in doing things that you used to do, right? These are signs that it's time for you to go, right? And then the next side of the coin is, what do I do before I leave? The first one is you need to get clear and have a plan. Update your resume, update your LinkedIn, and start networking, right? So if you are ready for a change in your career, right, even if you need help with looking for how to transition into a new role at your company and you're not sure where to start, right, this is what I help with. I help professionals transition, with confidence, right? We make sure that you are not stuck and that you are thriving in your career without all of the scaries and the fear related to it. So if you need me to help you build your plan on what to do next, make sure to contact me. Follow me on, usually on social media. I'm really active on Threads. You can follow me there at PLS Counseling. So I'm over there a lot, just giving daily career tips and tricks, things for you to kind of think about. And if you want to hire me as your career coach, you can go to www.expandinspirecoaching.com. I'm going to try to make this a thing, right? And be consistent with the lives, because I am passionate about this. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.